Hey, you crazy guys. Want to watch us spend an hour and a half in Halls of Valor? Well, you're about to. So, yeah, we got +7, guys. First time I did it and got it on footage, obviously. We have Bolstering and Skittish. All right. So, it came to my realization as well that it's different on EU. Currently, week 1 was Teaming and Skittish. So, that's cool. But either way, both have Skittish. Now, because of Teaming and Bolstering's differences, I actually found Skittish to be like, I don't know. It fucks us sometimes, obviously, but it feels really random, and I don't think that's what they should have done with it. Like, so listen, they do stuff like this because they know how people are gonna react, right? They're like, oh my god, classic, yay, less threat. But that's not like, it's not that the character should do or does more threat. Like, that's not what's specific about it. It's that AoE is so rampant, okay? Like, I'm not gonna like tab between mobs and hit them with a single target spell. That would be less threat than if I just constantly AoE'd, you know? So that's the difference here. Like, that's why this is stupid, because it doesn't actually do anything. Like, it's just annoying. It doesn't help you. It doesn't hurt you. It's not like anything you could game around. You just have to watch the mob, and if it's attacking somebody, you could taunt it. Otherwise, that's it. There's no real way for you to like kind of cycle through them, and it does feel random. Like, there's a few cases in here that may not make the video, but like the mob just turns and hits somebody else after I've done, like 300k DPS to it. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah. We are gonna really struggle in here. This is I am only 740, no 847 item level in here as a tank, and this is obviously me as Prot Paladin. Something if you guys watch this channel, I'm efficient at, I guess, but not amazing at, and I definitely do not have the artifact points that my holy weapon has now. 20 points in on my holy one and only 16 on my prot. So yeah, if I tank more, like if I find myself in a situation where I'm tanking more, I guess I'm gonna have to put a little bit more time in. But I left all this wiping on this first major trash pack in to kind of show you what to expect, especially if you're undergeared. Like +7 is really nothing once everybody's like 860 item level like they were on the beta. But now, you're still way behind. I mean, even like the best geared players in our guild right now are only about 855. So I am really undergeared. I have not gotten a single piece of gear from these Mythic Pluses this whole week, and 0 from raids as well, which is absolutely fucking infuriating. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. So Hymdall, we spent about 40 minutes. I mean, look at the timer, right? So you can tell. Go rewind 10 seconds and see the difference in the timer. We finally kill it. So what did it take us, like 20 minutes real time to kill this boss? Right? Yeah, you lose a minute every time you wipe. So yeah, about like 17. It was like 5 pulls. So we have lust. We have a really good pull. You saw that crazy Prot Paladin burst, and yeah, I love that. That is really fun. And then I drag the boss away, and somebody gets hit by the fucking cleave. Like, this boss is such a fucking nightmare. Honestly, this is, in my opinion, this is my least favorite boss in all of Mythic Plus dungeons. I almost said challenge modes, but my least favorite boss in any serious dungeon, because the mechanics are such a fucking pain in the ass to deal with. First of all, it's very difficult to see the dragons. Like, if you're tanking and I have to pay attention to his melee swings and his cast constantly, it's very difficult for me to constantly be turning my camera left and right to see which, especially because they can come from either way. So I'm just letting the other players deal with it. They understand, that this is very difficult for me to stay alive on. I need to focus. So they are going to do it for me. Now, that storm, that the AoE shit he does is very, very dangerous as a tank. You need, especially, when you're in this exact situation, undergeared, and things are tough for you. You need to have some kind of CD up for pretty much all of his main abilities, because the healers has a lot of movement. Other players are taking a lot of damage. As you saw there, once again, the frontal cone. Look at where Diabolical is, right? Rewind that and look where he is. He got hit by that, and he's behind the boss. So this fucking mechanic doesn't even fucking work properly. That's infuriating. Infuriating, And then it just kills you outright. Like, if a damage dealer gets hit by it, they're toast, especially on the higher difficulties here. So yeah, I don't know. I hated this boss on the beta. I hated this boss when we were undergeared trying to do mythics that first week. And I fucking hate this boss now. The only time I like this boss is when you overgear it. When you can kill him so fast that, like, his mechanics only happen once or twice, and you're not constantly running back and forth. But hey, we managed to get the W, and that's all that counts after about 5 wipes on it. We do have 2 Demon Hunters, so that's another topic we're going to discuss here. The Demon Hunter nerfs. What do you guys think about that? I think a lot of people are really exasperated by the Demon Hunter nerfs. I would say that it is a long time coming, okay? And now I think a lot of people who aren't playing a Demon Hunter are going to agree with me, and a lot of people who are playing a Demon Hunter are going to maybe agree, but also say that it was way overkill. And you're right, I guess. I don't know. I don't play a Demon Hunter, so I don't actually know what those spells mean. But from what I've seen, people say, you know, it was a huge AoE nerf, but it's like that's what was needed to be nerfed. But then because the way Demon Hunter works is also a massive single target nerf, and that's not fair because I don't know. Apparently I don't know. I've seen logs of people doing like 500k on like a 6-minute fight. So anyway, that's that. So here we have this crazy trash pack. I mean, another tough one. We're trying to pull them back. Okay, and I'm still getting used to this. So bolstering, what the goal was here was to pull them back far enough so the turtled mob, or what, it's like a frog, whatever, hexed mob. So there you see I get stunned, and then the mobs go on him, and now they're still running after him. So it's like, yeah, it's just stupid. Like I mean, I guess it's because I got stunned and he's doing crazy AoE, but I don't know. This is not what I expected this to be. But anyway, that's not. So yeah, I was trying to pull the mobs away, but I didn't realize, you know, exactly how far they needed to be. So realistically, we should have just pulled them down through the stairs, because now you're gonna see when we go to fight this CC'd mob. It's pretty funny. Look at it's got fucking like more health than the boss has. He's got 5 stacks of bolstering, and that's just like, oh god, unbelievable. So it takes us like almost a minute to kill this mob. And, you know, he's going to cast. If he does anything other than melee me, I die. But luckily, it's a mob that I think he couldn't actually do anything other than melee me. So, yeah. Anyway, that's that. So, yeah, we are going to just take this thing out without any prejudice at all. And then, you know, there's a lot of crazy trash in here, right? So, like, you know, it's actually a lot more important to realize that when it's interesting because, you know, in challenge modes, back in the day, there was trash that could complicate the dungeon. There was trash where you could wipe in even when you're boosting, and if you made a mistake, it would be very obvious. But here, you know, since things can get harder every time, you know, the next level, etc. But also the affixes, they make things more complicated, right? So apparently on EU it was teaming. So I'd be interested in seeing that. I wish I knew that. I did not realize that when I first started recording these. I would really like to see teaming because I feel like it's even worse than bolstering. You know, I talk to people on EU and they're like, oh, it's just, you know, just AoE more. Well, that's good, but, you know, at higher difficulties, like especially +7 and upwards, it's like, that I feel like that is a really bad affix for higher difficulties, you know, especially if you don't outgear things, because I'm already getting hit pretty hard. Like, we're taking a slow jaunt through this dungeon here, and, you know, it's not the end of the world, but some mobs are just fucking dangerous, man. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's insanely dangerous, some of these pulls. So, but I don't know. I think Halls of Valor has some of the hardest trash. I'm trying to think about it like objectively, and it's difficult to do because you do the dungeon so many times. But you know, I remember Scarlet Cathedral or Monastery or whatever it was considered in mob challenge modes. I felt like that dungeon had the hardest trash. Those dudes, like the zealots, and then like the fire dudes in inside the castle, or the cathedral part actually. Those guys were brutal. Every single time I get to those, it would almost like if we didn't beat the time like on a carry or something like that, it was because I died there as a tank. And I just remember I wasn't playing. I was playing monk at the time, and they did so much magic damage that it was just brutal. But here's a good example of what I was talking about here. Very dangerous trash. So we're going to ignore that guy going down the road on a fucking anyway. Yeah. So we're gonna grip these guys out here. We're going to try to kill them out here far away enough from the CC'd mob that it will not actually incur the bolstering, which I think, you know, is a smart idea, especially when you're in coordination like this. This is something you wouldn't be able to talk about in pugs. Like, people, I don't know, people would resist this and it would just be a nightmare. But so yeah, that penetrating shot, you see this ability here. So I was talking about this last night with people in the guild, and they said penetrating shot, this bitch does it, and you can move out of it. Like, she targets a player, she targets at a player, and then you can move from it. But I don't know, I'd be surprised to see that. Anyway, this yeah, just one bolster stack, and yeah, or I guess it's 2 now, but she is doing insane damage. So that's what I'm talking about, man. Dangerous trash in here. There's a lot of trash that's like high profile danger, you know, like the main dudes there standing against the wall back there. They're high profile danger. You expect them to be dangerous. So if you pull one of them with the regular mobs, it's really bad. But then there's like, you know, low key danger, like these guys. These guys, you know, the ones that do the etch and the ones that put out the lightning, like the lightning thing. That is low key danger that gets really, really hard to deal with when you're higher, whatever, torment. I almost said torment. Higher Mythic Plus, I guess is the only way to describe it. So we do the exact same thing here again. We turn that dude into a little fucking crab or whatever the hell it is, and we're just going to pull him back. But I don't, do we pull him back far enough? Yeah, okay, there we go. So now we move him all the way back. Because this was a continual issue. Some of the trash I cut out made that mistake. We try to do this on a lot of trash, and I don't pull them back far enough. It happened a few times. And I don't really know, you know, it's difficult to tell. First of all, 45 yards. So yeah, it is 45 yards, by the way, the bolstering thing. So, you know, I was thinking about actually making a video on all the affixes and talking about their, like, dangers and the differences in the dungeons. What do you guys think about that? Would you guys be interested in a video like that? If you are, let me know, because I'm thinking about doing it either way, but I wouldn't mind getting some input first, like what you guys would like to know. Especially, you know, I feel like this channel has two main types of people who watch it. There's people who are already very serious about the game that are here to kind of see like somebody else who's somewhat serious about the game, and also times to nitpick that guy. But and then there's people who are not serious about the game and they are looking for, you know, just some entertainment or some insight into content that they may be doing. So that's, yeah, for those people who, like, you know, people who have never done a Mythic Plus yet, you know, even though they're out and they were on the beta and everything. You guys have never done this stuff. What do you think? Would you like a video like that? Would you learn something from a video like that? The problem is I wouldn't be able to get footage of all the affixes. I would have to just talk about them on paper, because obviously by the time, if I waited for all of them to be live, it would be like a month and a half from now. But I think it's a good idea. Anyway, yeah, that's a rant, a topic there. So something I want to talk about now is Demon Hunter, okay? This is a really, we talked about this a little bit at the start, but I don't know. I think the Demon Hunter damage is out of control right now. Like, look at that fucking cleave. I mean, that was 3 targets, guys, you know? I don't know. That just seems a little absurd to me. I don't know exactly how their CDs work, but I think what they need to do is just find a way to make that not a possibility. So the other complaint people had was that, like, Demon Hunter is all burst. So once the burst is gone, they're bad. So like the higher Mythic Pluses you do, the worse Demon Hunter gets, because like mobs stop dying within their incredible burst, you know? And then outside of their incredible burst, they do nothing, apparently. This is what people I was talking to were saying and reading in threads and stuff. So, like, they're like, when you nerf it like that, then they become bad all the time. And then they're only, like, a raid. Like, they can't be brought to 5-mans is what people were saying. But I don't know. I've seen some, you know, it's the new class. It's the new spec. Havoc, of course, is obviously going to be the higher profile one because, you know, you can only bring so many tanks. I think Vengeance is the better of the 2 specs, like both like core mechanics and like efficiency. I think they are definitely the best tank that has ever been in the game, like the best new tank that has ever been introduced. Way better than how DK used to be tank-wise. They were a fucking nightmare having all 3 specs tank-wise. And then Brewmaster was just a joke. It was so stupid at the beginning. It was so imbalanced. But I think that this is the best tank they've ever implemented into the game. And I think Havoc is suffering because of that, because there's only the 2 specs, so it's way more, you know, they're the only DPS spec, and they're a new class, so it's like, well, it's the focus is on this. And in fact, you know, they said they don't want to nerf specs, they want to buff specs around them to keep them competitive. So, like, you know, for Mage, they just buffed Frost and Arcane, but they didn't nerf Fire, even though Fire was an outlier in that class. And they did that because they didn't want people to feel like, all right, I can't play Fire now, and I spent all my artifact power on Fire. So instead, it's like, all right, well, Frost is better. No, well, it's not. But anyway, Arcane, let's say it's actually true. Arcane is slightly better now, apparently, quote unquote. So I should play Arcane now. So that's the decision you're going to have to make. It's like, well, Fire didn't get any worse, so I can still play this, you know? But with Havoc, they can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, they were already broken. They were already way too good. But they can't nerf, they can't buff like a spec that doesn't exist, you know? They can't just buff Vengeance and make people play Vengeance instead. That's not going to work. So they had to do this. This was not optional. Like, this had to happen, and it needed to happen, guys. So if you're a Demon Hunter out there, like, I sympathize. But there was a tweet yesterday that said they're rethinking it, I guess. Hopefully they do, because, I don't know, I think it was excessive. Like I said, I don't know much about Demon Hunter as Havoc, so I can't really say whether or not I think it was definitely excessive, but I've seen a lot of people who do play Demon Hunter that claim it was excessive. So I don't know. Is it all confirmation bias? People just really butthurt about the nerfs? I don't know, but anyway, I think they're all right. So here's a boss. So this is the second boss. This is the fucking wolf boss, and I wanted to talk about this boss because you saw us. Well, you didn't actually see us, but you saw us struggle with Hymdall. We wiped 5 times. I cut 4 of the wipes out. For the pulls, and this boss is just a joke. Like, it's really interesting because I feel like that boss is just way fucking harder than any other boss in the game. And I'm talking to this, I'm saying it, like, I'm telling people in the guild this as we're wiping, and another tank in our guild, he's like, oh, I wanted to do a +7. Halls of Valor, that's a great one. I was like, yeah, it is good. But the fucking first boss, man, we spent like 40 minutes on it. He's like, really? That's the easiest boss in there. I was like, no, it's really, I don't know. And he was basically saying that Odin and to some degree Skovald are way harder. And I'm like, dude, those fights don't do anything. Like, if you know how to tank Skovald, if you know how to use the shield on Skovald, he does nothing. He does like 2 mechanics ever. And then Odin, it's just like, Odin's a complicated fight, but I mean, we don't wipe to it. We almost wipe to it, but we don't, and it's not in any way difficult to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like from the tank perspective, that fight is the hardest fight because you have to be very, 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 very aware of your surroundings, and that's difficult to do when you're getting your ass kicked like that. That dude does a lot of fucking damage. Oh, so here's another one, yeah. They're like, no, you got to pull him back farther than that, much farther than that. And then somebody stuns him. And then another guy stuns him. It's like, ah! Are you supposed to be on my side here or what? Like, everybody's like, pull him back. And then they're stunning him. But anyway, yeah, so we do pull him back here far enough, I think. There's that fucking idiot again. Anyway, yeah, so that's a dangerous mob up there that we sheeped. It's the mob that does, like, the constant magic cast. If you let that magic cast go, it will probably fucking annihilate you. There's a few, like I said, really high-profile dangerous mobs. And then the pack coming up here that, like, jumps down after we move up there, they are another set. That like, main mob, she does, like, this frontal blast that the boss does as well. That is a freaking nightmare. That mechanic would probably just kill you. In fact, we were joking about it before. We're like, let's put a stand in Spirit Link, put it down, stand in Spirit Link, bolster her, and then have it hit us and see if it kills somebody in Spirit Link. How funny would that be, right? Like, it would be really funny. It just kills the whole group. But yeah, so that's that. We're just gonna prevent her from doing it, I think. I don't think she even does it. You can stun her, which is awesome. That's the best thing about 5-mans, guys. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. That's why I made that video on 5-man. So there you see I blind it. But yeah, she's just going to jump away. We should grip, but things are like, mobs are like running all over the place because of the fucking threat shit. It's really annoying. It's just not fun. Like, this isn't what threat used to be like. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, the threat mechanic was a real thing. But now it's just, this isn't it. This is not the replication of it. You know what I mean? You can't have a threat model in the game when tanks can do this much AoE DPS. Now, anyway, so this boss, now this was a complicated fight for us. We are not, I make some really big mistakes here. Let's put it that way. But we were really not confident in our damage, which, you know, I completely understand. First time we've ever done difficulty this high. So they want to just go back and forth, which I'm not a fan of. I would have much rather stay on this side twice. The boss would have been a lot shorter. But so I'm going to get knocked across. So you see how far that pushes me back, right? No big deal. So yeah, I used the CD there. Well, I had active mitigation up as well. So now this part here is really dangerous. A lot of people don't understand this, and it's because people spread misinformation about this mechanic. They don't understand that when you get hit by that, everybody takes some damage. So there you see how much damage that does, and that was just one explosion. So luckily, you know, I'm screaming about this in Vent. I was like, do not fucking get hit by this. Move. So now watch this. Watch this. First of all, I didn't realize it would even hit me this far. And I just die. It's like, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? And I can understand why they're confused about what just happened, because I just got knocked like halfway across the fucking video game, you know? And it's really weird. I didn't even think about the repercussions of doing that. I was just like, I'm going to move because at first I knew I was going to get knocked back if I stayed close. And I didn't want to get knocked back into those swirling light things because first of all, I didn't realize that they were still going to happen. Like, this is the way I'd like to do it. Get knocked back towards the destination and then kited for a minute and then get it over there. But that, I did the opposite. I kited first and then got knocked back. And that not only knocked me out of range, but actually killed me. And Diabolical, the DK, is like, where the fuck are you? It's pretty funny, actually. So yeah, here's more orbs. We almost die here, man. If anybody got hit there, both DPS probably would have died. This is a really complicated fight when you do it this slowly. This is why I'd much rather like be in a sit. So here we go. I'm actually gonna pop fucking CD there. That probably would have killed me again if I didn't pop Guardian. I don't know. It just does a lot of damage. But anyway, I would much rather just kind of like stack up and use all CDs here if possible to survive this for multiple in a row. There's no way you're going to be able to survive this for 3 in a row here, but it's really, yeah, it's just, if we use Spirit Link, like, it wouldn't do anything, you know what I mean? But that's why you get the bubble. It's kind of weird to me. Like, it's always funny when you fight a mob that gives you a way to negate its main mechanic. Like, not only just like, you know, the fantasy of most bosses is like you outsmart the boss and find a way to do it. But in this situation, the boss actually gives you the way to negate it. They made it for you. We didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But yeah, that's that. Now, up here, I wanted to, I show the wipes? We wiped these fucking guys 3 times. And it's because the ancestors bolster them and they do a fucking lot of damage. So I was like, dude, let's just pop everything on these guys because we need to kill these motherfuckers quick. And if we don't, we're toast. And they really are dangerous. These 2 guys are really fucking dangerous at the higher levels. And I don't know, I assume they count as trash. So like for Tyrannical, oh boy, dude, I don't even want to think about that. Or is it fortified? Whatever one that makes the trash mobs have 30% more health and damage. That would be a fucking nightmare. So we got to stun off, and then we're able, like, since we popped CDs, as you can tell, we popped some CDs here. We were able to kill it before, and then Diabolical runs out and grips it. So that was, that was a good play there. That wasn't needed. I was ready to kite it, but that was the big issue. Like, they're like, all right, so we wiped once because the ancestors bolstered it, and then like, all right, you have to kite it. We can't kill the ancestors. I was like, all right, but Paladins can't fucking kite, guys. If you don't have if you're not in your consecrate, you're very weak compared to, what you're supposed to be. So I'm like, dude, this is not good. Like, I can't just constantly be moving. They were basically like just ignoring them and making me move constantly, which I'd be fine with if they weren't. Like, both of them were just pounding me. They were hitting me so fucking hard. It's unbelievable. So yeah, that's that. We do kill it here, but I wanted to lust. I was like, just fucking lust, stand still, stun the goddamn mob, and kill it in lust. But like, we don't need lust. We don't need lust. So we use lust on Skovald instead. Now I'll show you guys a little tip. I feel like a lot of people don't know this because I did it in the group, and they were like, what the hell? How did we do that? So I'll show you exactly what you do. So so Ragnarok starts and then you use the shield, right? So everybody that I've ever every time I heal this, the tank or anybody else who uses it, they always use it when he starts the cast, like the up channel, and then the channel begins, So don't do that, because if you do that, it'll last the entire Ragnarok. But if you have it up for a few seconds afterwards, he does another mechanic immediately. And the second go around, he does the Fell Rush. I guess it just times out that way. And this Fell Rush is fucking dangerous. So like typically, in that same situation, you'll see it here shortly. In that same situation, we were all stacked up behind him, and if the shield goes down before he Fell Rushes, all 5 of us would get hit, and that would be a fucking, like, it would be bad. Be tough to heal for sure. So yes, you can negate the single target thing he does, the Savage Blade, which does a little bit. I mean, it doesn't do that much damage. I have CD up for it, but it still only did about 70%. That is the mechanic that is really dangerous, and it's honestly a little scary. So see, you just wait it out. He doesn't, like, the fire doesn't come immediately, so you won't even take 1 tick. And we don't need Spirit Link there, but I guess that's the best place to use it. That we don't actually take damage behind here. But anyway, so there you go. You see, he did the Fell Rush, and we still had the shield up, and because he rushed into the shield, the Fell Rush did not do damage. And all 3 of the people are like, what the hell? Like, they were like, fuck, spread, Fell Rush, Fell Rush. And then he did it, and it didn't do damage. And they're like, what the hell happened? So yeah, that's a little tip. If you guys delay it a little bit, it's very potent. You could negate another whole mechanic, and the fight is not, it's not meant, it wasn't built that way. Like, you see that Savage Blade, like, just negating that is obviously useful. So Anyway, that's it. That boss is down, and now it's time for Odin. So we're almost done here. It's a long ass video, guys. I hope you were able to sit through it. I apologize for that, but I mean, it was an hour and a half worth of footage. So you're gonna see the Prot Paladin burst yet again. Very good. I really like. That's like the only reason I'm enjoying playing Prot right now. I really do not like Prot Paladin, especially after they nerfed the healing and damage that they do. I much prefer to play Blood, but it is my main class. And I am going to obviously need gear as holy. But what the fuck is the point of even doing these? I've yet to get a single fucking piece of gear. But at least now on Tuesday, I'll have a guaranteed 7 or 870. So here's the ad. Now, the ad complicates this fight a lot. In fact, it's almost the reason we wipe. Well, we don't wipe, but it's a really big complication. So the mob doesn't die there. I assumed it was going to die. I could have killed it before I ran out. But yeah, it just gets the cast off, man. And that cast is nightmare. That thing getting 1 or 2 of those off is G fucking G. And then Diabolical gets hit there to like 1%. It's just, this is a mess. This fight is a mess. So I understand why people think it's bad. Especially, you know, another, the Paladin tank I was describing, as Morgraine, the guy I made the video with last time. He, you know, has the same issues that I have. The mob's constantly running out of Consecrate. Lots of high movement is very bad for Paladin. So it's a difficult fight from a Paladin's perspective. Would be much easier as a Demon Hunter, even a Warrior, or even Blood, really, because you can grip the ad. But having to constantly move this ad, so there you go. I put a shield on him, he's stunned, and then Diabolical grips him away from me. It's just a mess. And now I get hit here. So these are like big mistakes, guys. This is really bad. I don't deserve to survive this fight, and I don't. And you're going to see why, and it's because I make just an incredible, look at this. Who the fuck is driving? You know what I mean? Come on, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen myself do. Yeah, let's go stand in the middle of 5 of these fucking spears. But it's not even enough to kill me, but then I get hit by another one. On the way over to the green rune there. But luckily, since everybody has the increased healing, they're able to just finish the fight. He's only got like 3% left. We have the buff now, and they're able to heal themselves up very severely. So that's it. That is Halls of Valor +7 with Bolstering and Skittish. Skittish really was not a complication for us, but I think it was just because we played it so safe. So if you guys have any questions about any Mythic Plus stuff, let me know. Otherwise, you know, Ripperino and Pepperino for Demon Hunters. It was fun while it lasted for you guys. I'm sure you'll be able to play another video game, though. And yeah, that's that. Time to play a Warlock and Ret, I guess. See you guys in the next one.